Yeah.
BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Mark McGee from How to Steam Broccoli, the designer of Tether and some other games. And there's a game that I've been playing recently. One, Steve, that DJ Bell taught me first. Our good buddy, DJ Bell. It's called It's a Wonderful World. And if you got a second, Mark, I thought we'd chat about it.
Yeah.
Have you played It's a Wonderful World?
I've not played it.
Okay. It's a Wonderful World is a game that I'm going to start off right off by telling you, I don't care what the theme is. I can describe it to you. It doesn't matter. Unlike Arcs, which did have some thematic elements, unlike Tether, which feels like you're connecting astronauts and all that, It's a Wonderful World feels like you're exchanging cues for other stuff. So sorry, Lucky Duck Games, that part didn't come through for me, maybe for other people. But what it is over the course of 4 rounds, see all these cubes on the board there. Over the course of 4 rounds, you're going to be doing a pick and play and pass mechanic, a la Seven Wonders or Sushi Go, getting some cards, staring at those cards, and trying to figure out which one of those cards can generate the resources you need to play even more cards, or maybe sacrifice certain cards for a better play later on. And it's all about the scoring. So if I show you one of the cards, it might make a little bit more sense. Okay, so yeah, if you take a look. And to me, this is the entire part of the game. When you look at the cards.
So that becomes central?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if I can get
let's see that
better for you.
If you could, there we go.
Okay. And let me see if I got a better shot. Oh, look, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
This is the heart of the game, right? And there's lots of the game over the course of 4 rounds. You're going to be developing. You're going to take this deck of development cards, and we're looking at left side, of course, is the cost. We're gamers. We know some of this lingo already. The bottom side are the points that you're going to be trying to score, and that little circle on the right hand side. That's if you don't want to play the card later on or at this time when you're taking care of your card play. You can just discard it to get that benefit. And there's a bunch of different benefits. But the important part is that upper left and then that bottom, because the upper left is what it's going to take to get it, and the bottom is what it's going to give you, either just straight cubes whenever you're producing, or points, or even multiplied points, depending on if you have certain. The one all the way to the right tells you, hey, if you have those little tokens on your board, you're going to get a point for them. So you're going to start chasing those tokens, right? The phases are very simple. We're going to do a pick, pass, and play with 7 cards starting, and everybody's going to look at their hand of cards, pick one that they want to play, put it face down, and then reveal it, and then try to finagle how we're going to do that and pass the rest of them over. Then we'll do the planning part where we're either going to discard some of these cards for the recycle bonus, that's that little circle on the bottom right, or we're going to put these cards in an area so that we can do planning on them. And then the last part is going to be the production. Some of these cards are actually going to produce for us, and we'll put those back onto the cards to complete them, or we'll just keep them on our player board. And every time you do 5 just resources of any kind on your player board, it gives you a wild token. So we kind of got what the game's all about, right? It's kind of a Splendor smash up with 7 Wonders, maybe, right? Tableau.
Yeah, I was thinking like Century Spice Wonders here.
Century Spice. Century Space Wonders would be a great name.
That works.
Right.
That works.
And I can see all the things like, the space station, the Zeppelin, all the things that maybe are trying to go for the thematic field. Do the specific buildings interact in any way with each other, or is it really just
I shouldn't give it short thrift. The designer did include those things, like the different types of colors and the different types of resources, matter. It's just, how you in Tether, you tried to get the numbers to be a flow by making that color gradient. In this case, I just can't get over the fact that it's blue and green and yellow and black cubes that I'm chasing after, right? And yes, the red tokens are generals, and I forget what the blue tokens are, but they don't feel like generals to me. They're just like red number ones. But that doesn't matter. As Steve well knows, if you put a game with a city name on it and a bunch of great mechanics, I don't care about the theme at that point.
Yeah,
that's
true.
I mean, this is not a dig on the game. I'm just warning people that say every game has to be Rock Hard 1977. For me, it doesn't. I love Rock Hard 77 for that reason. But it's a wonderful world. I keep wanting to call it It's a Wonderful Life, but It's a Wonderful World just didn't have that thematic connection to me. But it does have the cool puzzle play, and it's got the cool pick and pass. That being said, one of the pros I like is the fact that unlike Splendor or even Seven Wonders, you feel like you have a little bit more control. You're getting a bunch of cards every round, and you're setting which ones you can pay for and which ones you can discard. So I feel like there's more control there. It feels more gamery. And also there's a race each round to have the most of those resources that you see at the top, right? And if you do, you're going to get some nice little bonuses. So you can't just hit just greens because you're just going to get one. You're trying to compete with all of them. My ultimate problem is that I'm like, okay, if I got 30 minutes, I'm probably just going to play a Splendor type of a game, like a Sentry or something else. Mm-hmm. If I have more time than that, then I'm probably just going to want to play some kind of, interesting tableau builder, like Empires of the North, right? Something that's more deck based, something that's more controllable, something that I feel like there's a bigger arc. I am not down on this game at all. I wouldn't turn down a play. In fact, our game group actually likes to play it, so it frequently comes out. I'm just saying that for me, it's a middle. Does that make sense? Of like,
if it's just the funny space between like a little bit too light for a big game and a little bit too long for a small game. Yeah.
For this length, I'd rather just extend the game a little bit longer and play something that's going to be, heck, for me, I'd play Endless Winter. And I know people are going to say, these have nothing to do with each other. Yes, they're cards, they're tableaus, they're trying to outbid each other for certain powers and certain points. So for me, that's what I'm going to do. Hey, Time Roller, what's up? We always play a game with Time Roller. Time Roller, have you ever played It's a Wonderful World? We almost never win. I think in all the years I've been doing this show, twice maybe? He's played everything. So I'm sure he's going to tell us he's played this game. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to go one step above you. He's streamed this game already. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
There it is.
I'll bet Tommy did. So Mark, what does this intrigue you? Is this the kind of game that you like?
So I like pick and pass style drafting is probably my favorite type of drafting.
Love it.
Yeah, because it's like everything's simultaneous and you get to it's just always fun and it seems so clean and elegant. So yeah, that part of it sounds pretty interesting. I'm curious about the acquiring cubes to unlock stuff to get points. Like that whole building up an economy engine. Part of it's me. My day job is I do data analytics, which is a lot of spreadsheet calculations and stuff like that. So a lot of this,
you're gonna kill me in this game.
A lot of this, like building up an engine to optimize how numbers turn into more numbers. Like because I spend so much time doing it, I usually don't tend to play games that also do that in my spare time, because I'd spend most of my working hours doing that sort of stuff. So. But like the draft, like anything that's like, let me figure out what this other player is going to do. They probably want this. I'm going to draft this, like that sort of stuff. I like.
That's what I was going to ask about. Is it kind of like in Seven Wonders where you're watching people on the sides and paying it? You have to pay attention, or you just get lost in your own tableau?
No, kudos to the designer. The reason for that, you need to pay attention to the colors and who's going to win those colors. It's pretty strong bonuses if you win those each round. Typically speaking, the person who's winning 2 or 3 of those every time and getting all these wild resources, or I can't remember exactly. I think you get the generals and the other thing, which is a way to score a lot of points at the end of the game. So it's been a while since I remember that specific aspect. But yes, you do have to pay attention. And again, when I'm playing this game, I am so worried about creating an engine. I'm just not very good at watching what the other players are doing. So
see, that's a selling point for me, because that is what I like so much about things like Seven Wonders, is paying attention to what am I passing, what am I giving you, versus I need to build my own, but I also can't feed you.
That reminds me of why I like the Seven Wonders version that has the naval part. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I know.
Armada.
That's
Armada.
Yep.
I think that's why I like Armada so much, because it's got that visual representation right in front of you, and you know exactly what everybody's doing, right? And so I can kind of focus on it. Bradley still kicks my butt in that game, but at least I feel competitive in that game. So yes, it's gonna have that. You're gonna actually see what people are playing. So they're putting it out on this tableau, and they're constructing those cards, or at least they want to construct those cards. They could still discard it for that little the recycle bonus instead of putting in their tableau. But at least you know during the game that, oh man, I might want to hate draft this black card because I don't want Steve to get it. You know, does that make sense?
And it's interesting how like the draft is not like the way you just described it. You don't just get everything you draft. You didn't have to build it if you're going to use it. So I see how that would add like an extra layer of you're not just going to win and lose based on, oh, I got handed the hand that has exactly the cards I want. You not only have to draft it, you have to get enough resources to build it, to add it to your tableau. Like that seems like an extra layer that could make it, a more strategically rich sort of drafting game.
It is, and also it's not the kind of game where you, like Empires of the North, you play and then it's Mark's turn and then it's Steve's turn. This is everybody look at their card, everybody put one down, everybody flip one over, everybody make a decision on that card. Am I going to recycle it? Am I going to start working on it? I mean, I got to make that decision, and I'm watching what everybody else is doing, and you're all doing it at the same time. So to tell you the truth, it's almost all simultaneous. Even when you get to the production phase, it's not, okay, Mark, you produce. Okay, Steve, you produce. Everybody produces. Everybody builds their cards. So the only stop is whenever we have to shuffle up the cards and hand them out and look at what we've done and hand out the bonuses based on how much it is. Other than that, it's not real time. It's more, what do they call it? Simultaneous play, I guess is the way to look at it. Sure. Yeah. Which I do like. This is weird. I came into this review wanting to say I don't like this game, and I'm talking myself into enjoying it. It's my only complaints are
of green, red tokens too.
My only complaints are that to be fair, the only complaints I have are that I'm bad at it, and that if it's longer, I'd play a longer game. So, you know, but what I'm trying to do is give you my experience. And so not tell you whether the game is great or not, more tell you what my experiences are. And if that matches up with what you like, then this is going to be a game you're going to like. So
you mentioned one of your critiques is that you're bad at it. I found, I don't know why this is true, but the games that I like the most are the games that I have the most difficult time winning. And I the more I've thought about it over the years, I think it's because it's actually, it poses a challenge. You know, everybody's naturally good at some things and not so good at some other things. And I feel like if I play something that just fits my strengths, that it doesn't feel as challenging. And I want to play something that's going to like be a struggle for me to win. So playing something that I don't win all the time, for whatever reason, I just have way more fun with those games.
But Steve, you don't even know this.
If I didn't play games that I was bad at, I'd play no games.
Hey, Steve, you don't even know this story yet. I got an email today from a publisher, and they had read my review of Amalfi Renaissance. And Mark, Steve and I have this competition where Steve's the name father. He comes up with fantastic names of everything. If you ever need like a slogan for your game, just email Steve. He's going to come up with something very clever. And so I try to outdo him, and I put these funny titles on my reviews. And the one I came up with for Amalfi Renaissance, because I'm really bad at this game, I've only won it twice out of a dozen plays. Jared usually stomps me. I called it Renaissance is Futile instead of Resistance is Futile, right? So the French publisher emailed me and said, hey, we loved your review. We loved what you said. You had some good critiques of it, but we loved it. But what does that mean? Our English is not very good. Like, what are you saying in the title? So I explained to him that it was a triple pun. You know, it's like Renaissance instead of Resistance, futile because I'm not very good at it. But, you know, resisting the game is futile because I love it. It's the same thing Mark said. I actually like games that I'm bad at sometimes. I mean, I really like them. Well, the guy told me that is also why he picked Renaissance. It's a double pun. Amalfi was the original game made by Ocha Bakoya, who makes that game that I love, Aqua Gardens, the one that they ripped off. Not ripped. I mean, it was an homage to Heaven and Ale. Steve, remember that game?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So this was one of their very first games, Amalfi. When the French publisher took it over, they did so much development work, it became kind of a new game. So he called it Amalfi Renaissance for Rebirth, right? Yeah. It's like a rebirth of a great game with new things in an enlightened game. So it's funny that he also did that. And once he figured out what I meant by it, not that I'm saying playing this game is futile. I mean, I love the game. I'm just bad at it. He was like, oh, I love the title. So.
To be clear, I do hear from a lot of people who are native English speakers who still ask me, what did BJ mean by that?
Yeah, that's like a common thing.